do solemnly affirm
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Charter of the City of New York,
the Charter of the City of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties
of the office of member of the New York City Council
to
the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. First, I just want to start off actually thanking the NYPD and the fire department for doing a fabulous job last night dealing with the apparent attempted car bombing in Times Square. I want to thank so many of the city's leading elected officials who are going to be here today but couldn't because they're dealing with this situation. I want to thank lots of our friends who are actually in Israel today celebrating the holiday of Lag BaOmer, but who send us many well wishes. Today is a special day, and it really has nothing to do with the fact that so many of you have come out to hear our finest and most powerful senator introduce me, United States Senator Chuck Schumer. And of course, one of the great things about Senator Chuck Schumer is that Senator Schumer is bringing Brooklyn to the rest of the United States. So thank you, Senator. What makes today so special is that, according to the Jewish tradition, some 2,000 years ago, there lived a great sage by the name of Rabbi Akiva. What made this rabbi so great was that he was a shepherd. And at the age of 40, yes folks, he was 40 years old, he was now tending to his flock. He saw a rock with a hole in it. And he discovered that if a rock can get a hole in it from water that is dripping year after year, surely he, a simple shepherd, could turn himself into a Torah scholar. And so as the story goes, this great shepherd went out for 12 years to become a great rabbi. He returned. He overheard his wife saying that she would be happy to have him go for another 12 years. And then he came back 24 years later with 24,000 students. But the story doesn't end there. His students were widely considered to be the shining stars in what was a very turbulent time in Jewish history. But the Talmud tells us that they were envious of one another, and they were disrespectful. And as a result, God brought a plague upon them, and they all died simply because of the fact they lacked mutual respect. Today is the day that there was an end to the carnage, and for that we celebrate on this day known as Lag BaOmer, or the 33rd day of the Omer. What does all this have to do with my inauguration? It's not a coincidence that we're having our inauguration today. I really believe that one of the things that we have lost in politics is our civility. This comes with dire consequences. After all, if we can't even agree to disagree, how are we ever expected to agree on anything? That's why immediately after the election, I reached out to those who did not support me and asked them to work together. Because elections are one thing, but getting things done is another. I'm proud. I'm so proud that so many of these people have joined me today, and I'm looking forward to working with all of them to make New York safer, more livable, and more affordable. And that's why I'm so proud of the fact that we want every single neighborhood in the community, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're a Chassid from Borough Park, a Sephardic Jew from Midwood, or an Italian Catholic from Bensonhurst. We all want the same things. We want quality education for our children. We want safe streets. We want jobs. And of course, we want less parking tickets. And speaking of parking tickets, I was proud to have questioned the NYPD Chief of Transportation last week in a respectful way about the excessive parking tickets in our city. I love the NYPD, and they do a fantastic job, but even fantastic people can make mistakes. And quite frankly, even police officers have told me that the number of parking tickets in our community are excessive. Well, we've asked nicely for them to stop giving out so many tickets, and so if they don't take our advice, we're going to introduce legislation to make it more difficult for them to give out what we call the gotcha tickets. Speaking of civility and mutual respect, one of my first responsibilities as city councilman was to make recommendations to the borough president on community board appointments. I'm so proud to announce that my recommendations look like this district. We've recommended Hasidim, Ashkenazim, Sephardim, Italian Catholics, Asian Americans, Russians. Why? Because of a very simple reason. If we can't live together, we definitely can't work together. The second lesson that we learned from Rabbi Akiva is that change does not come overnight. We have a lot of challenges and we have a lot of work to do. And I've gone to work on some of the major issues facing our community right away. As a quick recap, here's what we've done in our first 25 days in office. First, we extended our office hours because government should work as hard as you do. Second, working with the Park Department, we helped folks who had a problematic tree pruning that was going to take place during the week of Pesach and Easter. We postponed it until after the holidays. Why? Because everyone deserves peace and quiet and parking spaces on their holiday. And working with the sanitation department, we increased the pre-Pesach garbage collection for parts of the community that never had it before. We met with all of the yeshivas in the community to talk about their priorities and what we could do to help. And speaking of their priorities, I'm proud to have joined with several of my colleagues, including Councilman Steve Levin, and Councilman Brad Lander, and Councilman Tish James, to work and to ensure that we reinstate the Priority 7 vouchers that have been eliminated from this year's budget. And we're also going to be working with our public advocate, Bill de Blasio, who led the fight last year and this year will be helping us lead the fight from his role as a citywide elected official. You know, education is going to be a top priority of ours. And speaking of schools, we're going to work with the good folks at SAA to improve their baseball field so they can continue their terrific youth program. And speaking of fields, I'm proud to say that I've spoken with the mayor's office to ensure that the funding Councilman Felder secured for FDR High School will in fact come to them, and very soon they're going to be completing the field right behind here, and they're a few dollars short. We've committed to making up the difference in this year's budget so that FDR can have a wonderful, beautiful field. The other thing that we did was we set up meetings with every major social service agency in this community to talk about the budget process. It didn't matter whether you supported us or not. If you do good work for the community, we're going to help you. We even secured a commitment from the Deputy Mayor, Dennis Walcott, to create a committee to explore my plan for free door-to-door transportation for students throughout New York City. We want to work to prevent hate crimes and robberies in our community by offering cash rewards. And I'm proud to say that thanks to the NYPD, thanks to community leaders, thanks to the award that myself and Assemblyman Heitring had offered, the district attorney was able to recover last night 5 stolen safe motors and bring it back to our community. Yeah, all that in 25 days. But you know what, folks? There's much more that needs to be done. There are larger projects that we need to do that will take time. We need to come up with a way to help the unemployed and those who are losing homes in our community. We need to take a serious look at housing in this community, and that means the overdevelopment that has taxed our community, as well as the need for more affordable middle class and senior housing. We need to take a look at how we assess the taxes in homes and condos and make sure that it's fair and equitable. We need to ensure that kids keep their free Metro cards to get them to and from school. We need to protect our seniors by pushing Congress to pass a cost of living increase of $250 to ensure that every senior has everything they need to make ends meet. We also need to save, etc.